If I said boring NBA team, you might say Orlando Magic.
No, that wasn't very nice.
No offense, but that is the harsh truth. It hasn't always been though. This is Shaq's old team. T-Mac, Dwight Howard. This team knows what having a superstar and contending for titles is all about. But they have missed the playoffs or been bounced in the first round for 10 straight years. However, there is a clear path back to the top. And in this video, we're breaking down the best plan to bring Magic back to Orlando, or at least Melo to Orlando. Hey, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops, another off-season video here. We're still putting out 5 videos per week at 5 Eastern. That is worth a subscribe. Sometimes they drop early, so hit notification bells. So this is the Magic off-season. If they are not your favorite team, we're doing all 30 teams off-season plan. Off-season basics, cap space, $0. The normal free agent exceptions we talk about, and a $5.6 million trade exception. Draft, Chuma Okeke still hasn't signed, believe it or not, and the 15th overall pick. Needs backup point guard, 3-point shooting, and a franchise player. Relevant free agents, Evan Fournier with a player option, Michael Carter-Williams, and DJ Augustin. Let's start with the most important thing. Look, there are a lot of little things to get to this offseason, and we will address those, like extensions for Markelle Fultz or Jonathan Isaac, Evan Fournier opting in or out. But we can't lose sight of this, winning a championship. Everything has to be with that in mind. The way you win in the NBA is by getting a superstar. The Magic don't have one, but we can't blame them because it's the toughest thing to get in sports. Orlando builds like the Thunder. They get superstars through the draft or trades. They don't attract them in free agency. The Magic have drafted and kept one twice. Dwight Howard in 2009, Shaquille O'Neal in 1992. Victor Oladipo is close in 2013, but that's about one every 15 years. So the fastest way to contention is through a trade. We will address those superstar trades at the end of this video, but for now, let's talk extensions. The Magic can extend Markelle Fultz, Jonathan Isaac, Aaron Gordon, and Evan Fournier if he opts in. Those are really important names. I think the Magic should extend 2 of those guys and let the other 2 play out the year. First off, they should not extend Aaron Gordon. He's their most valuable trade chip, and if he signs, they can't trade him for 6 months. Besides, he's had injuries and been pretty inconsistent. Also, do not extend Evan Fournier. They should draft a young guard to share the floor with Fultz instead, and Fournier's $17 million expiring deal is valuable in a trade. Then there's the controversy. A lot of people say to only extend Fultz and Isaac to team-friendly deals. Fultz has had one decent year, Isaac has a torn ACL. That would be a horrible idea. We just discussed how they're not the Lakers or the Heat or the Brooklyn Nets with some glamorous market attracting free agents. When they have talent like that under team control, they need to pay them. They can't afford to lose a #1 overall pick like Markelle Fultz or a defensive star like Jonathan Isaac. They should absolutely pay close to what those guys want and not a team-friendly $12 to $15 million deal. The risk of letting them go to restricted free agency is the Magic lose them to teams with cap space. That would be losing years of progress. Next up is the draft, and at 15th overall, the Magic get Cole Anthony. This is taking a gamble on talent again because Anthony was projected a top 5 talent at one point. He slid out of the lottery in some mocks because of defense, injuries, and a ball-dominant approach, but his upside is special. Dude averages 19 points per game on 45% effective field goal with 4 assists. He can play alongside or behind Fultz as a rookie, but it'll be impossible to find another player like this with the 15th pick. If he is there, take him. Another draft wrinkle for Orlando is Chuma Okeke. He was their first rounder last season, but he never signed, rehabbing an ACL. He is an efficient scorer and a good defender. I don't expect a lot from the power forward, but it is worth mentioning. Now, the trades. Yes, the most fun part of the video, but it's not just fun to think about. it's realistic that they make a Woj bomb type superstar blockbuster trade because they have everything you need to do that kind of deal. They have all their future first round picks. They have talented young players like Aaron Gordon. They have a big expiring in Evan Fournier and a championship level piece on a team friendly deal in Nikola Vucevic. And the first trade is a 3-team deal that involves James Johnson and the 2020 Minnesota second round pick to Golden State. Then the Warriors flip Johnson and the number 2 overall pick plus Kevon Looney to Orlando for Aaron Gordon in the Magic's first round pick at 15. This deal can't be done all at once. Golden State would have to trade for James Johnson, then wait a few months, but it can be done. The Magic get that franchise player we talked about in LaMelo Ball or Anthony Edwards. Let's be honest about Aaron Gordon. Dude needs a change of scenery or at least of role. On the Warriors, he fits into a small ball lineup, not having to play next to Vucevic anymore. He's a vet that can help them beat the Lakers or the Clippers, and that's what this offseason is about in Golden State. Next up, Andrew Wiggins, Eric Pascal, Jordan Poole, and number 2 for Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier, and number 15. The Ringer dropped this trade, and I love it. The Magic get that number 2 overall pick. They take on Wiggins' bad contract, but they still have $10 million they can spend on free agents. Next up, Paul George for Nikola Vucevic. The Magic do this to get a higher ceiling player who has proven that with his own team, decent teammates, and a good coach, he can compete for the East. PG's trade value is super low right now after failing in the bubble playoffs, but if he has a resurgent year in Orlando, the Magic could re-sign him. The Clippers do this and they get a big man that they lacked in the postseason. Vooch is an upgrade over Montrezl Harrell to close games, and he would have been the difference in a Game 7 against Denver this year. Next up, Evan Fournier and 2 first-round picks for Victor Oladipo. The Magic keep Vooch in this trade, and they get the guy they drafted who became a star in Indiana. There are rumors that Vic doesn't want to be a Pacer going forward, and Indy probably won't offer him a max extension. The Pacers recoup 2 first-round picks instead of letting him walk for nothing. On the Magic, Vic is an elite 2-way shooting guard next to Markelle Fultz. This is a formula for the Magic to compete for the East. Another year of Fultz plus Oladipo in the backcourt. Prime Vucevic plus a healthy Jonathan Isaac in the frontcourt. Now, those trades have conference finals upside, but I don't think a trade for like CJ McCollum or Drew Holiday would get them there. And trades for Joel Embiid or Giannis just don't make sense. The second part to adding though in the offseason is free agency. None of these names are worth diving deep into because there's no one big they can get with no cap space, but the wings to target are Wes Matthews, Kent Bazemore, Bryn Forbes, and Pat Connaughton. The backup point guard they could add might be in Austin Rivers, Matthew Dellavedova, or Shabazz Napier. Backup point guard especially is a weak free agent spot this year, which is another reason that Cole Anthony makes so much sense in the draft. Now, none of those free agents are going to make a big difference because what they really need is a superstar franchise player. And again, they've got 2 options here. Try to draft one, which comes around about once every 15 years, or cash in their assets and gamble on a win-now superstar. Support AM Hoops and click subscribe. Don't miss a daily NBA video.